Namaste everyone, my name is Sarah. This practice is a fiery practice. So if you are feeling really lethargic, like you don't feel like moving or doing anything, you've been eating a lot, or you just feel really blah, this practice is for you. We're going to generate some heat, create that tapas, burn off some of that extra energy, and hopefully feel good. So I'm going to start my timer. Now is a good time if you need towels. We're going to start in Virasana. So I have 2 towels here that I'm going to place underneath of my sits bones. When we come into Virasana, it's hero's pose. So that means the knees are forward and you're sitting back on the heels, and it's nice to have some towels, or if you have a block, you can sit on the block. Okay, so you can pause the video and go grab those. I'm going to turn back towards everybody. So find a comfortable seat on your towels or on your block. Allow the sits bones to be heavy, drop down through the hips and reach up through the crown of your head. Elbows are by your sides, palms are resting on the tops of your knees. So imagining one long line of energy coming down through the center of the body. If you'd like, you can imagine it as a golden thread coming through the crown of your head, down the spine and through your body, rooting down into the earth. So you're plugging in, okay, getting some of that earthy energy here. Maybe even feeling grounded in these uncertain times. And then if it feels okay, you can gently close the eyes, or even just soften the gaze, gazing down at the tip of the nose, or at the floor, maybe 3 feet in front of you. Just beginning to notice the breath without really changing anything here. Noticing any aches and pains you might have brought with you to the mat today, and maybe taking a moment to set an intention. We'll begin to work with the breath, taking a few rounds of this seated cat-cow. So as you exhale, the fingertips will slide down towards your knees, the tailbone will tuck, and the chin will drop towards your chest as the shoulders round forward. Inhale, draw the elbows back by the ribcage, reach the heart up. Tailbone reaches back, and then exhale again, round in. Inhale, lift the heart, reach the tailbone. Exhale, round. Good, 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Good. Come back up to seated. As you inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Keep them about shoulder width distance apart. And as you exhale, take the right hand to the left knee. Allow the left fingertips to plug behind you. Still imagining this golden thread, the spine, reaching straight up towards the ceiling and twisting so the gaze turns to look over that back shoulder. Try and find the wall behind you with your right eye. And then as you inhale, come back up to center, reach the arms up overhead. This time you'll take the left hand to the outside of the right knee, and the right fingertips will plant behind you. Again, turning on the spit of your spine, looking over that back shoulder and trying to find the wall behind you, this time with your left eye. As you inhale, come back up to center, reach both arms overhead, and then come forward onto hands and knees. You can move your towels or your block out of the way. And as you come forward onto hands and knees, maybe you feel like tapping out the tops of your feet or tucking the toes, just to get a little release in the tops of the ankles. Here's where we're going to start to build some fire. So we'll take 1 round of cat-cow. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart. Exhale, round through the upper back. Good, come back to your neutral spine. Navel draws up towards the spine. Tuck the toes and lift the knees 2 inches. So you can stay right here and hold, or you can reach the right leg behind you. And then draw the right knee back in. Left leg reaches behind you. And you're doing it like this. Keep going side to side. Good, that's 4. You're reaching out through the heel so the foot stays flexed. and the standing knee is still bent. So you still have to work through the core, and you're pressing down through the entire palm of the hand. Good, let's do one more time each side. Good, drop the knees. One round of cat-cow, untuck the toes, lift the heart. Exhale, round. Good, come back to your neutral spine. Tuck the left toes. You can stay right here. Lift the left leg. This time, we'll take the right arm reaching out in front of you, just for spinal balance for a moment. And then take the right fingertips behind the head. Right arm reaches out to the side. If this is too much, you can always drop the left knee. You'll inhale here. Exhale, right elbow to left forearm. Inhale, center. Exhale, tap. Exhale, tap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tap. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. We're only going to 8, 7, and 8. Good. Drop the sole of the toes to the left foot. Bring the right hand down. Kick this right lower leg out like a kickstand. Spin the back heel down and reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. Gaze can turn to look at that upraised thumb. You're pressing through the pinky toe edge of that left foot. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, gaze looks down. Tent the fingertips of the right hand. And then come up to gate pose. So right fingertips are forward. The left hand comes to the left thigh. Flip the right palm and reverse. Good, inhale, come back up to center. Release the hands down, come back to table. Tuck the toes, bend the knees, sink the hips back towards the heels, and then come up to downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Release the legs, maybe sway the hips from side to side. Come back to stillness. And then as you exhale, come back to the knees. Now, I didn't say this before, but if you have any sensitivity in the knees, take one of your towels, unroll it, and place it underneath of your knees. All right, this time, right leg reaches behind you. Right leg reaches behind you. Lift the right leg in line with the right hip. Left arm reaches forward. So you can stay right here in spinal balance. You can drop these right toes for a little more support, but the left fingertips are coming behind the head, just where the hairline is. If you have the right leg lifted, you'll stay here, and then as you exhale, bring the left elbow, or left elbow to the right forearm. Inhale, center. Good, exhale, tap. 2, exhale, tap for 3, exhale, tap for 4, exhale, 5, exhale, 6, 7, and 8. Good, send everything out long. Bring the left hand down, bring the right toes down, spin that lower left leg out like a kickstand. The right heel spins down, and then the right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Gaze turns to look up at that right thumb. You can roll out the wrist here if that feels okay. Good, tent the left fingertips. Use the belly to rise all the way up for gate pose. So the sole of that back foot is pressing firmly down into the earth. Flip the front palm, right hand to right thigh. Reverse your gate pose. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, release. Good. This time, you'll tuck the toes, lift the knees 2 inches, come back into that crouch. So you're in a crouch. We're going to come forward like you're springing off the back legs into a plank pose 5 times. So you'll inhale here and you'll exhale, come forward. Now I'm a little too far forward, so I have to walk my feet back a little. So here I am landing in plank. Good. So let's start again. Find your perfect plank or perfect crouch, and then shoot forward. Inhale, crouch. Exhale, 2. Inhale, crouch. Exhale, 3. Good. Inhale, crouch. Exhale, 4. Last time, crouch. And 5. Good. Drop the knees. Come back to table. Tuck the toes. Rise up onto hands or onto your knees, and just release the wrists. Shake them out. Front and back. Good. And come back. With the toes tucked, again, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Finding your length, reaching down through the heels, rooting down through the thumb and the first finger. You can bend your knees as much as you need to lift the tailbone up. And then inhale to lift the right leg. Exhale, step the right foot to the right thumb. Drop the left knee so you have 2 90-degree angles right here. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Hook the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh and twist. Prayer twist here. If you have a little bit more, those back toes are tucked, you can simply extend that left leg. Making sure this left hip doesn't drop down, so you're trying to keep that left leg super engaged. Reach out through the left heel, gaze up towards the ceiling. If you have the back knee lifted, drop the back knee, unwind, lift the arms up overhead, and then bring the hands on either side of that right foot. Scoot those right toes forward, shift the hips back for Ardha Hanumanasana. So, draw the toes back towards the shin. Plug the fingertips into the earth. Lift the heart forward as that right hip draws back. And one more breath in. Maybe you fold on your exhale. As you inhale, draw that heel back towards you, plant the sole of the foot, lift the left knee, step back to high plank. We'll lower all the way down onto our bellies, untuck the toes, and lift up for Cobra, Bhujangasana. So your Cobra here, elbows draw in by the ribs, shoulder blades draw together on the back. Take one breath in, exhale, release. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, lift the left leg. Step the left foot to the left thumb. Drop the back knee so you have 2 90-degree angles here between the right knee and the right hip. Left knee, left ankle. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Thinking about the outer left heel connecting to the big toe mound and the inner left heel connecting to the pinky toe. And from there you plug into the earth. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Hook the left elbow to the outside of that right thigh and gaze up towards the ceiling. Again, if you have more, these back toes are tucked, you can extend that right leg long. But again, the right hip doesn't drop. It stays in line with that left hip. If you have the back knee lifted, drop the back knee. Gently unwind, reaching the arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, fingertips to the floor, scoot the left foot forward as you begin to sink the hips back. So I still have the right hip stacked over the right knee. But now I'm pulling the left toes back towards the face. Fingertips plug into the earth. Left hip draws back as the right hip draws forward. Heart reaches towards those toes and beyond. Maybe you'd like to fold in. And then inhale back up to center. Scoot that left heel towards you. Plant the hands, step back to high plank. This time we'll lower down through chaturanga. Untuck the toes for a bigger back bend in upward facing dog if you're ready. As you exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step the right foot to the right thumb. Keep the back knee lifted this time. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. We're going to work on a little bit of balance and a little bit of core here. So, on your exhale, you're going to come forward, Elbows will come by the rib cage as this left knee will come up. So this is what it'll look like. And as you inhale, you'll land into your lunge, okay? We're gonna do it 5 times. So ready for your inhale? Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 3, 4, 5, and land in your crescent lunge. Good. Spin the back heel down and open up for Virabhadrasana 2. Plug into that right foot. The outer right heel crosses over to the big toe mound. The inner right heel crosses to the pinky toe edge of that foot. We're drawing an X to mark the spot and plug into the earth. Catch your breath. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, reverse your warrior and straighten that front leg. Inhale, lift up, setting up for triangle pose. So if you need a block, I'm going to turn towards you guys so you can see me. So if you need a block, you're on your right side. Place the block to the inside of that right leg. Arms are to a T. Shift the hips back as you reach this right arm forward. When you can't reach anymore, allow the right hand to come to that block. Maybe to the inside of that calf. Maybe you can grab the big toe and reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. Thinking about gathering the top ribs and expanding through the bottom ribs. Again, the crown of the head is on a spit. This golden thread right through the middle. So you're reaching out through the tailbone and out through the crown of your head. One more breath in. Use the belly. Rise up to standing. Good. Bring the big toes both facing towards the side of your mat. If you need to turn to face me, you can do that as well. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, forward fold. Allow the crown of the head to drop towards the floor. And then inhale to lift up halfway. Bring your hands to your hips. Bend the knees slightly and rise all the way back up to standing. Good. Wherever you are, turn your toes to the front of your mat and take a big step forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold in. Inhale to lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to high plank. Again, lowering down through a chaturanga. Inhaling to back bend. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. Step the left foot to the left thumb as you exhale, back knee stays lifted. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. So we're going to do that same core work on this side. And if you lose your balance, that's okay. That's what we're working on. So inhale here, exhale, inhale. 3, 4, 5. Good. Land in your lunge. Spin the back heel down and open up Virabhadrasana 2. Again, rooting down through that front foot. The outer left heel crosses over to the big toe mound. The inner left heel crosses to the pinky toe mound. Plug into the earth. Do the same for your back foot this time. So both feet plugged firmly in, feel really grounded and rooted. Flip the front palm, reverse your warrior, and then straighten that front leg. Moving into Trikonasana, if you know you like to have your block, grab it. Inhale, arms to a T. As you exhale, kick the hips back, reach the left fingertips forward, and then find your triangle pose. Again, gathering in the top ribs, extending through the bottom. If you have the hand on the ankle, try not to dump weight into there. Still find lightness. It's just the lightest touch. Good. On your next inhale, rise back up to standing. Bring your hands to your hips, turn your toes to face the side of your mat, and then heels in, toes out, setting up for goddess. Good. as you sink the knees out, they're tracking over the pinky toe edges, the middle second toe of your feet. So you're not collapsing into your arches. Again, find the whole foot. Outer heels to the big toe mound, inner heels to the pinky toe edge. Good, we'll take breath of fire here. So breath of fire is an inhale up, and then as you exhale, just like we did with our drawing our knee into our chest, the elbows will come right by the rib cage. It's like you're inhaling, reaching for what you want. As you exhale, you're drawing it into yourself, okay? We'll do that for 5 times. If you feel lightheaded at all, still holding goddess. If you feel lightheaded at all, just take deep in breaths and out. Okay, at your own pace. Ready? Inhale, lift. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Inhale, lift. Straighten the legs. Again, parallel the feet. Bring your hands to your hips. We'll take a forward fold. So if you like, toe heel your feet a little wider. Sometimes that's easier. This time, if you like, you can take the arms behind you, interlacing the hands, lifting the arms, or reaching the chin up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, forward fold. Lowering your heart rate, reconnecting with your breath. Good, and then the hands come back towards the hips. Again, release the hands to the hips, bend the knees, come up halfway, and with a flat back, rise all the way up to standing. Good, I'm gonna turn my left toes towards the front of my mat and take a big step forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips and forward fold. Inhale to lift up halfway. Plant the hands, step back and move through a vinyasa or meet in downward facing dog. So lowering through chaturanga to upward facing dog. And then rolling over the toes as you exhale for downward facing dog. Good, we're gonna take malasana. So separate your feet about as wide as your mat with the last 3 toes pointed off the edges of your mat, and walk your hands back to come to a seat at the back of your mat. Malasana, swap pose. So I'll turn to see you guys. Good. So if you can't get your heels down and Malasana is still really inaccessible to you, it's always nice to grab a block and have a seat. Really great way to still find the opening of the hips and the groin with a little support. Good, we're gonna take 2 more breaths here. And then if you like to practice a crow pose, the elbows are squeezing into the knees are squeezing back into the elbows. You'll take your hands about shoulder width distance apart, lifting the booty, keeping the gaze looking forward. If you look back, you'll tumble. Birds always look forward when they fly. Good. So you'll begin to shift the weight, squeeze the knees into the elbows, maybe lift one toe, and then the other. Good, so from the side, lifting the booty, squeeze the knees in, lift one toe, and then the other. Wherever you are, hold for 3, 2, 1. If you have it in your practice, you can jump back and find a vinyasa, or simply lower the toes, bring the hands out in front of you, and step it back to downward facing dog. Good, we'll meet in downward facing dog. As you inhale to look forward, walk the hands to the top of your mat, or walk the feet to the top of your mat. Sink the hips into chair, wide chair. So your feet are separated about hips width distance apart. Reach the arms out in front of you. We're coming down onto our backs. So you're gonna begin to lower the booty, lower the booty, lower the booty, and if you have to, help yourself out behind you. If you can, see if you can lower all the way down and sit, coming into Navasana, boat pose. So, need some more help? Bring the hands behind the thighs. Shoulder blades drop together on the back, heart lifts up. Work the belly here. If you have more, reach the arms. Do a little core work here, inhale. As you exhale, lower the right heel. Inhale, parallel. Exhale, lower the left. Inhale, lift. Right, left, right, left. Good, keep going. You got this. We're almost done. We're making our way down onto our backs. Keep going, lifting the heart, maybe even raising the gaze. Good, one more time each side. Good, plant the soles of the feet to the floor, wrap the arms around, and draw in like a little ball. Lift the gaze, plant the soles of the feet, reach the arms forward. This time we'll scoop the belly, lower all the way down, rolling one vertebrae at a time. Good. Draw the knees into the chest, give them a squeeze. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor, knees up towards the ceiling, arms by your side. We'll take a few rounds of bridge here, and if you have a wheel practice, we can talk through that as well. But the first round is bridge, separating the feet about hips width distance apart, maybe reaching down to graze the Achilles tendons with your middle finger. The low belly draws in, so you flatten the low back onto the mat, so I can't reach my hand under there. Press down through the hands and inhale to lift the hips. Try not to look from side to side in this pose as your neck is in a slightly vulnerable position. And if you'd like, you can draw one shoulder blade under and then the other to broaden through the collarbones. Gentle pressure in the back of the head. Again, finding all four corners of the feet. Outer heels to the big toe mounds, inner heels to the pinky toe mounds. Plug into the earth. One more breath in. Release the hands and exhale, lower down, one vertebrae at a time. Step the feet as wide as your mat, knock the knees in. One breath in and out. Good, set up for number 2. So this time, again, belly draws back towards the spine. Notice how my tailbone reaches up towards the back of my knees, and inhale to lift the hips. This time I'll tuck my left shoulder under first, then my right, and I'm gonna take the awkward clasp. So opposite thumb and first finger on top. Pressing down through the pinky toe edges of the pinky sides of my hands. Shoulders are taking most of the weight, but there's a gentle pressure in the back of my head just so my throat is open. Again, all four corners of the feet root down to rise up. Plugging into the earth. One more breath in. And gently release the hands. Roll down one vertebrae at a time. You have an option for one more bridge pose. If you're moving into wheel pose, you'll take your hands by your shoulders, fingertips facing towards your shoulders. Elbows are drawing in and reaching up towards the ceiling. You'll still find the tuck of the tailbone. You root down through the feet and maybe rise up onto the crown of the head. Again, if the elbows are out wide, wrap them in, reach them behind you. Plug down through the feet, press through the arms, and lift up. Wherever you are in your back bend, hold for your amount of breath. I'm only going to hold for 3. To come out of wheel, you'll tuck the chin toward the chest, lower the head down, and allow the spine to come back onto the mat. Separate your feet about mat's width distance apart. Allow the knees to knock in. So if mat's width distance is too far for your knees to touch, bring the feet in so that your knees can rest against each other. It's called constructive rest. Take one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. Close your eyes and slow your heart rate down. Good, 2 more deep breaths in. Inhale. Open mouth. One more, inhale. Open mouth. Bring your hands down by your sides. Realign your knees up towards the ceiling. Cross the right ankle on top of that left thigh. Draw the left knee in for figure 4. So you can reach the hand in between the cross of this right thigh to grab the behind of that left thigh, maybe the front of the left shin. Maybe you straighten the left leg up towards the ceiling, and maybe you can grab the calf, but not at the expense of losing the connection of the low back on the mat, right? I'm still dropping my tailbone down. Good, release the sole of the left foot back to the mat, arms out to a T, and allow the knees to fall over towards the right. Still keeping the cross of now this right ankle to the outside of that left thigh for a little stretch on the outer left hip. Gaze turns to look over that left shoulder. Inhale, come back up to center. Uncross the legs. This time cross the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Again, taking behind the right thigh, the front of the right shin. Maybe straightening the left leg and keeping the hand behind the thigh, or reaching over that left ankle to grab the calf of the right leg. Both feet are flexed to protect the knees. Again, you're working to keep the tailbone down on the floor. Nice stretch in the low back and the outer hip. One more breath in and out. Let's take one more. And then gently release the sole of the right foot to the floor, arms out to a T, both knees come over towards the left, keeping that the right ankle hooked on top of that thigh. Gaze turns to look over that right shoulder. And if these twists don't work for you, find a twist that does. Yogi's choice. Good. As you inhale, come back up to center. Draw the knees into the chest, give them a squeeze. Maybe rock from side to side or draw circles on the ceiling. Bring the hands behind the knees and take a few rock and roll up and down the spine. If you're okay with your spine. If this does not feel good and you have any spine or disc issues, then you'll come onto your back, roll over onto one side, and help yourself up. Good. So come back into seated. We'll take Sukhasana this time, easy pose. Again, grabbing your block or your blankets if you'd like to sit up and have a little elevation. We'll end with just a few minutes of pranayama, which is square breathing. Well, we'll start with Kapalabhati, and then we'll end with square breathing. So Kapalabhati is a pranayama meant to build fire. So we're going to build some fire with this Kapalabhati breath, and then we'll do our square breathing to calm it down, okay? So in Kapalabhati breath, it's a forceful exhale and a pumping of the stomach, okay? So you're drawing your navel back towards your spine. If you have any issues like you're pregnant or trying to become pregnant or any blood pressure issues, then you're just going to take deep breaths in and out, okay? For Kapalabhati, I'll show you, it looks like, okay? So it's a forceful exhale through the nose, okay? So we'll take a deep breath in together. Exhale all of the air out. Take a half breath in and begin to pump the stomach. Exhale all the air out. Take a deep breath in. Hold it at the top. Maybe tuck the chin towards the chest. And then open mouth. Sigh it out. So we only did one round of Kapalabhati breath. It takes a little bit to work on, but it's definitely good for heating up the body. We'll do a few rounds of our square breathing now. So for our square breathing, it's an inhale for a count of 4, a hold at the top for a count of 4, an exhale out for a count of 4, and then a hold out for a count of 4. Again, if at any point this breath becomes really anxiety producing, or you notice that you're holding, you feel lightheaded, or you're holding a lot of tension, first see if you can soften through the breath. But if you feel like you're going to pass out, again, you're just taking a deep inhale for a count of 4 and an exhale for a count of 4. We're trying to keep the inhale and exhale the same. So exhale all the air out. Inhale through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top, 2, 3, 4. Exhale out, 2, 3, 4, and hold out, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold in, 2, 3, 4. Exhale out, 2, 3, 4, and hold out, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold in, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold out, 2, 3, 4. 2 more breaths. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Last one. In, hold, exhale, hold. Again, take a deep breath in, no count, just your deepest breath yet. Hold at the top, maybe tuck the chin towards the chest, sip a little bit more air in, sip, sip, sip. And then release, open mouth. Sigh out. Joining your hands together at heart center. No effort is wasted in this practice, and I thank you for joining me on this day.